So right there is where I have my positive charge to my DC to DC charger, and it charges my house batteries. And you see the transmission, there's the oil, where you put the oil, there's a dipstick, and check this out, guys. Ow! You know what that's called? It's called a serpentine belt. Sounds expensive, doesn't it? That's how it goes. And well, hello there, everybody. I hope you're having a good day. You know, relative to the state of the world, my day is pretty good. Granted, you probably notice I'm in another vehicle, so I've been using this to drive around, basically to work and to get some stuff done, namely because I've been looking for parts for my van. Yes, you know, just the other day I had posted a video boasting how, oh, you know, the van's doing great, and you know, for what it's been through and how I've been driving it, it's been doing fantastic. Granted as well that it's the original parts that have been on this van. So far I've, in the past year or so, I replaced the radiator, so that's good. Brakes, new brakes. I've got new bearings. So I think the main items that would make this van work really well are being replaced. And in order to top off everything else, I'll tell you a little story that had happened just the other day. This is easily one of my favorite things about this van. This beautiful light. And well, hello there, everybody. And in our last episode, I was talking to you guys about this van and how I was driving it and I smelled this smoking thing. It smelled like burning rubber. I think that's probably what it was. And as it turns out, if you watch the video, you notice that I popped open the hood, and a piece had fallen into the engine and was burning, and hence the burning rubber. And I thought that was about it, you know. Drove away and saved some money from the mechanics. I also got my tires exchanged out. You know, every year I get my winter tires on, and then I swap them out so you don't wear down the treads, right? You need to do that. You know, tires are expensive. You know, if you buy a full set of tires, brand new with rims, it's going to set you back at least $800 to $1,000. That's expensive. That's expensive to me. I know people that spend a lot more, and you know, if you could do it, then you know, good for you, as long as it's not affecting you in the future. But anyway, I could perceivably exchange out my own tires on my minivan, but I chose not to because I don't have the proper tools. Because you have to, when you put on tires, it's just not a matter of putting them on. You have to make sure that the bolts are tightened correctly, the correct torque. Otherwise, you're going to have some problems. You know, it could come off, or you know, it could damage the mechanisms and things like that. So all these little things that I understand, that I read that you have to do. Now, if you're not into all that detailing, then you know, so be it. Do your own tires. For me, I don't do that. It's not a whole lot of money for the amount of peace of mind that I do get when I get a professional to do it. So let's start with that. I'm just going to change up the camera to maybe place it here. Nope, I don't think that's going to work. So I'll just leave it where it is right now. You know what? I think I'll just keep it where it is right now. Anyway, so I'm just sitting on the back seat of the van here. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so went to the mechanic. I figured out what was wrong with the smoky smell that I smelled. The smoky smell that I smelled, that did concern me, and got my tires exchanged out. And oh yes, I was talking about how you want to make sure that you have the proper torque when you're putting on the tires, and so on and so forth. And if it's not your thing, so be it. Anyway, as it turns out, so I drive away, and did I tell you this is a 2008 Dodge Grand Caravan? And it's got a new radiator. It's got a mechanism that I installed, a new mechanism that I installed, so that the driver's side window would function. It was literally just the unit, so it was defective. Replaced that. New brakes, new bearings. So little things like that kind of do add up. And in previous videos, I had talked about maybe getting a completely new van, a bigger van, and so on and so forth. And like anything else, I budget for everything. I think that's important. I think planning is very important, because the decisions you make now, whether it's a relationship level or financially or career-wise, will eventually affect how things are going to work out for you. And sometimes it's unfortunate, sometimes people's problems are the results of their bad decisions. Okay, sometimes, and other times it really is just is how these things go. I'll just use the expression, the universe has certain ways of teaching us a lesson. So yeah, so I'm going to go back. So I was driving, and out of nowhere, my steering all of a sudden kind of seized. It was like very difficult to steer, and I'm thinking, oh no, this can't be good. Obviously not if you can't steer properly. So I'm driving, and it's clear I got to pull over. It just so happens that my van happens to break down close by to where my parents' driveway is. So I drive there, and I limp over to the driveway, and I just park it there, and boom, that's where it ended. Snap! That's it, right? It probably snapped before. And what I'm talking about is the serpentine belt. Hold on, okay? 1 second. Where is it? I think I have it here. Hold on. Oh my goodness. Sorry about that, guys. Here we go. This thing. This is a serpentine belt. Okay? And what happened was, this thing here snapped. Now, I'm going to give all the professional mechanics out there, if there are any professional mechanics out there, take a guess what happened. Is it a bad serpentine belt? Did it decide to snap? Look at it. Right? This side. Okay. Well, give you 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I looked at it, I thought, oh, easy fix, serpentine belt, no problem. They're about $75 to $100 plus install, and so on and so forth. So I have to get it towed, and I think I have a picture of my van being towed. You have to do that, right? Because it's a part of the thing with the van, and they towed it, and it was great, very easy. The guys that helped me out were extremely polite, cordial, courteous, and very happy. And so I'm glad that I got the CAA, which, by the way, I only had the basic package for CAA, which allowed approximately 10 kilometers of towing. But then I looked at other options as well for future. But anyway, so I got it to the garage, and within a few minutes, I had my mechanic look at it, and they had some bad news. Like bad news in the form of hundreds of dollars. if not over $1,000. So let me collect myself here. So I got it towed to the garage, and he said, well, your problem really isn't the serpentine belt. Everything is fine. And when they looked at it, when my mechanic looked at it, first thing they said was, this snapped, like literally clean. It's not because the serpentine belt was this thing. It's not because it was worn out or anything. It literally snapped. So something snapped it, and I'm thinking, oh, okay. So obviously put it on the lift, which is always exciting to me. Put it on the lift. You could see underneath the car, you could see my diesel heater install, you could see some of the rust. You know, overall, under the body, it's actually pretty good. The frame's good, the chassis is good. There is some rust because it is a 2008, and I do, you know, I'm in the Rust Belt area of the country. You know, snow and salt and all that stuff will eat away the car, but I do wash it a lot, right? I do spray it. Anyway, he said, well, it's your compressor. My compressor? Yeah, your AC compressor. And already I'm thinking, boy, this sounds expensive. And an AC compressor is expensive. If you're driving and you're looking at $1,000 or more. And when I consider that, when I picked up this van, you know, pretty much it was nowhere near. That's about more than half the cost of what I picked up this van. So I got to do a good deal on this thing. Anyway, as it turns out, it's going to cost about at least $1,200 to fix this AC compressor. So that's not in my budget. I'm not able to do anything about that. So I had a few options, and I thought about some of the things that I was going to do. I thought, well, maybe I'll just get another van because I don't want to put any more money into it. Or I can bite the bullet and get this thing all going. You know, get a compressor and get it fixed and all that stuff. Well, you can guess pretty much what I ended up doing, because here I am talking to you, and I just showed you in the beginning of this video a clip of where I am right now. So I did get a compressor, but it wasn't brand new. What I ended up doing was, just out of sheer luck, I mean, I'm telling you, just sheer luck, I said, you know, let me contact, he said, you know, contact a scrapyard and see if there's any parts. I mean, it makes sense, right? I've done it before. I contacted the scrapyard and I said, hi, you know, I'm wondering if there's any possibility you might have a compressor, front AC for a 2008 Dodge Grand Caravan. And the guy said to me, oh, we just had one come in literally an hour ago. I'm thinking, whoops, that's amazing. So, wow, huh? Now, isn't that amazing how that works? So, well, they had to, like, basically they were parting it out, and the thing was pretty much brand new. So I got the compressor, I picked it up, and I brought it to my mechanic. He looked at it and goes, oh, this is actually in good shape. We want to make sure it works, obviously, but I think the scrapyard, you know, said that it did work, so they were able to sort of verify that it did work. And my mechanic installed it, and lo and behold, it worked, and it was in really good shape. My mechanic said this is a good compressor, so I saved about $800. Now I know what you're thinking, or maybe some of you are thinking, well, if you saved $800, you could spend $800 on something else. No, you don't do that. That's how you get into trouble. So what you do, well, to me, I was just like very grateful that you know, things happened the way they did. So that was really cool. And my mechanic replaced the serpentine belt. So in all, I literally paid 1/3 of what I thought I was going to pay to get this thing fixed. So far everything is working amazing, and I'm pretty sure I can get another 100,000 kilometers out of this thing. So I'm pretty happy. I'm excited. a bit of a blip in the plans, but the way I've handled it, I'm quite proud of myself. I didn't. It really, for some reason, I'm at a point where it didn't faze me. Well, like what? Yeah, it's bad. Yeah, that I had the possibility of having to, fork out more cash, but it didn't faze me in a way that I didn't lose sleep over it. And that's really important. I think part of it is because I'm looking at all these issues, not only in my personal life, in my work life, and also in my van life, that problems are opportunities to experience on how you can solve it. It's a challenge for you to solve it. It's a challenge for you to maintain your emotional control over the situation and not worry about it. And I think that's an important skill that people should develop. You have to understand where my background was. I was a programmer for decades, and if any of you are familiar with the industry, the IT industry, the programming industry, it's really, really stressful. I mean, yeah, you're sitting in front of the computer, but there's this inner stress, at least for me, that it never left my mind. When I left work and I was in a social setting, or I was doing something else other than work, I was always thinking about work. And that's to me, it wasn't healthy for me. And that's why, I had to sort of get out of it to the extent that I got out of it, but then learn how to sort of cope with how it is now. Like I am programming. I am back to programming again, making web apps and things like that. But I'm working based on my terms, and I also switched up another part of my career that I think is much, much better for me on a mental health level, and I think it's a good mix. And so I'm very happy with where things are and how things are going. I work with just fantastic people. I really do care about their well-being. It's different, if you've ever worked at a place where you just didn't like anybody there, or they were just so obtuse. That's difficult, and at that point, it can become toxic, and you want to sort of move away from that. But I've been incredibly fortunate in terms of the people I work with. The people I work with they're wonderful. I really do believe that. They're not perfect. We do have our run-ins every so often, but it just gets smoothed over and everything seems to be fine. So very happy about that. Anyway, also I'm very happy about how this whole thing turned out. So I want to let you know what was going on, but also I'm realizing as I look back at the videos that I've made regarding this van, how much it's actually, there's a story, and it's all transformed, and it's come to this point now, and so far I'm very happy. So this is going to be my third year doing this, and looking towards some adventures, and I'm hoping that I'm hoping to do some more interesting videos. I am looking at the AC install again. I'm not going to talk about it here, but I'm planning that out. I do have an idea of where I'm going to install it. I'm also looking at a tear down in terms of mixing things up a bit here, and then seeing how that's going to work. Aside from that, thanks very much for visiting. Thanks very much for listening to me chatter away about my van build. I really appreciate it. And I don't know if I said in the last video, I want you to know, remember, remind yourself you're awesome. Remind yourself that you can do stuff. It's important to talk in a positive way to who you are, and I think that's what people should do more often. Okay, guys, thanks a lot. Bye-bye.